says a new deck is being shared, but I don't. Oh, there you are now. Okay.
Yeah. You want me to share or you?
Yeah, I still don't see how to do it.
Okay. Let me share and maybe you can run the second part of
I
this
think I can
slide.
run it. Let's see.
Okay. So I think it's time to get started. So welcome to the LSVR session. Our session is being recorded. Okay, this is a note well. I think you assume to know this really well. If not, maybe you can take a look at the documents listed here. Also, we have the note really well. Yeah, we should behave properly to our colleagues in the IETF. And please take a look at this. Here are the meeting tips. Just to remind you to use the Meet Echo to join the queue. And if you are remote, please try to use a handset. Here are the resources for this meeting. I think you already get used to this. Okay, here's the working group personal update. Firstly, welcome AC to join as a working group co-chair. Yeah, I think AC knows everything about link state routing. So this is really helpful and my pleasure to work with AC. Yeah. And second is Katen stepped down as a working group chair. Actually, he stepped up to be our responsible AD. So I think we also welcome Katen to uh, take this new role and continue to help us to run this working group and to finish our deliverables. Okay, here's the agenda. We have the first is about the liaison. We received the liaison from IEEE 802.1, and we want to have some discussion here to collect feedback and inputs so that we can get a proper reply to IEEE. And then we will have a review and discussion about our deliverable on L3DL. The third one is a new draft on uh, extensions to support SRv6 in BGP SPF address family. And if we have other topics, maybe we can have open discussion in the end. AC, do you want to run this part from this one? The working group status?
Sure. Sure. Let me see if okay. Well, I got that to work.
Okay.
So what is there? So we have after numerous
AC,
reviews.
can you go back to the previous slide? It's about the
Oh, the
rechargement.
recharter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got our new charter approved, and we got L3DL approved as a working group deliverable. Uh, if I let's see, I don't know. You can look at it. There's a link there. And as far as so the base documents, we finished them after a number of reviews, and now they're in the RFC editor queue. I think I don't know if they're scheduled on the telechat yet. The Yang model, there was some good news on that. We're expecting an update in the next IETF. The authors are working on getting all the BGPLS nested TLVs defined in the Yang. But what the good news is it looks like the IDR working group isn't going to wait for two interoperable implementations of the BGP model. So
Yeah.
that's the IETF BGP model is a prerequisite before we can do the BGPLS SPF address family augmentation in our Yang model. So hopefully they'll push that forward, because unfortunately, not many of the, I wouldn't say not many, but because of people implementing their proprietary models, I should say vendors implementing their proprietary Yang models, we haven't had good adoption. We've had great adoption of Yang, but we haven't had good adoption of IETF Yang models across the vendors. Recently, at least for the IGP, there's been open source adoption of a few of the models, open source distribution called Holo out of Brazil. So hopefully that trend will continue and we'll get more of our models implemented and deployed. And now we'll have the bulk of our presentation of our session today will be on L3DL. So I won't say much more other than the fact that it was added to the charter. How was that, G? I didn't know I was going to do this.
Yeah. I think we can start with the first topic, which is liaison. Will you share or I share the slide? Easy?
What you go ahead and share it. I actually can't find the place to share it.
Okay, I can share the slides. And
are you sharing it from Upload Manage Slides?
yeah, I share from all the uploaded slides. So now, can you see the slides now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So, will you talk about it?
Sure. Let me I know how to take control. So that's working. So I'm not going to say much more about this liaison other than the fact you can read it yourself. You can see that there's a link is right here. But the summary is the IEEE doesn't really see the need for L3DL because of the fact that LLDP is widely deployed. And I should say recently, about 2 years ago, they added an addendum to the LDP specification to support multi-frame PDUs. So it might be hard to get an EFR type from them. And what we've got to determine is what we do next and how we respond to the liaison. If I know we have our own, I know usually they don't push back on EFR types from other standards organizations, but it appears they are. One alternative I was thinking for right now, we could use an experimental EFR type, or we could move to an alternate design. And with that, I'll open the discussion.
Yeah. Anyone?
Go ahead.
Yes,
Janos?
if I may,
Janos?
Janos Farkas speaking. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Thank you. So the spirit of the liaison, if you read it or open it, actually is that it suggests the two groups discussing it the way forward together. And this is how it got started, actually. when we were back-to-back in Bangkok 2018. And the next possibility like that is coming up in July, when the two groups meet at the very same hotel back-to-back. That would be a possibility to discuss developments together. Or, of course, virtual meetings are possible. This is also mentioned, also sort of suggested or offered in the liaison statement. And yeah, the story is that based on the input from LSVR at the time in Bangkok, actually, an amendment was specified for LLDP, for multi-protocol data unit, that is capable of conveying all the necessary information. And that was published 2021, freely available to download. And indeed, the statement says that IEEE 2.1 still believes that it is undesirable for the industry to have multiple discovery protocols, and if new protocols specify, they should be backward compatible. Also, there was individual contribution to the LSVR group, suggesting or explaining how to use LLDP. So the LLDP standard is complete. No standardization work is needed for use for LSVR needs. I gave a link to this draft from Paul Congdon and Paul Botov to the chat, and one of the co-authors, Paul Botov, is willing to work on an update on completing and showing how to use LLDP for LSVR's needs. Of course, the LSVR TLSVs have to be specified by the LSVR working group, but that's under the organization-specific TLV, so IETF can do it and would own it. All in all, the spirit of the message is that ideally the two groups would discuss it together somehow.
Okay, thank you, Janos, for this information. And I see Ross is in the queue.
Hi. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm the liaison manager between the IETF and IEEE Standards Association. So we do need to reply to this liaison statement. We need to figure out what we want to say first. And sadly, most of the people who help write this are not also here. Even the ones who normally do participate in the IETF are not in Bangkok because 802 met in Atlanta last week. But I think we should figure out, perhaps through an interim, that where they can join, to talk to each other before we reply. That's my recommendation.
Yeah. And Janos?
Yeah, or so what is in the 802.1 LS is a WebEx meeting, practically speaking, of IEEE 802.1 that can be used as well. We need to announce any such meeting like 10 days ahead. So it's just a WebEx meeting.
Okay. And Keaton?
Okay. So a few points to clarify here. If we actually read the working group charter that has been approved by the ISG and the community, it does not specifically mention any protocol. What it describes is the kind of requirements or the things that the working group feels that they need, but there is no protocol choice being made in the charter text. So I just want to put that up front. Now, there are two there is this working group document that the working group member has worked on for a long time, and it has developed, and I would say maybe perhaps it is somewhat close to working group last call, but not there yet. Uh, and there are other proposals, so it's for the working group to discuss and come forward with, probably look at the options and see how we want to proceed further. I'll not say anything more. And we do need to respond to the liaison, so I definitely think at an appropriate time, sometime soon, we should have that meeting to work something out together, and hopefully come to maybe one more if needed, and get to some level of agreement before Madrid, ideally.
Thank you, Keaton. Anyone else who want to give some comments on this or suggestions?
If
Janos,
I,
please.
Yeah.
yeah, if I may suggest, like maybe reach out to Paul Botorf on the timing, what time he can have an update to the draft. It might be good to have such an updated draft on the table for the LSVR working group discussion. I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah.
Randy
And
Bush,
Randy.
Arcus and IIJ. I have a Zoom account we can use.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Who would be the required attendees besides Paul and Giannis? And of course, the draft offers. Who else from IEEE would we need? Would we need Glenn?
Yes.
Okay. So Glenn and Paul, right?
Yes, at least, but we should, of course, we would announce it to the
Right.
802.1 list as well that it's happening, I guess.
Oh, again, one more thing to add. Hopefully not, but just in case we need, there is a possibility of doing a technical meeting at Madrid on the Saturday. I mean, don't take it for, like, it's not 100% fixed, but hopefully we will have that just in case. But my preference would be to not take it that long. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, for Madrid, many things are happening, and everybody's looking at that Saturday. Like Ross and Dorothy is leading the setting up a leadership coordination meeting. We are working on a potential .NET TSN workshop in the afternoon. But another possibility for Madrid is actually from IEEE side this time, because of the back-to-back IETF 802.1 is introducing a one-day pass, for example. So if people want to participate, that can be an option to have it on the Monday of the IEEE meeting on the agenda. Anyway, there are several possibilities. We can figure out the details.
Okay, let's go forward with that. I don't know if there's much more that we're going to have an interim prior to the meeting. We can target sometime in April. Does that sound good to everyone?
Yeah.
And we'll,
Okay.
Randy, are you coming to present, or do you have more to say on this topic? Okay.
Okay. AC, I will share the next slide. Okay.
I am It says I'm no longer controlling. Okay, so
Okay, let me try to share it from. Okay, now
yes,
the next one is Randy. Doesn't work. Let me try. Does not work. Let me try again. Yes. It's worked now. Okay, now it works.
Randy Bush, IAJ and Arcus.
Right.
Okie doke. And my co-conspirators, just so that we weren't doing a submarine job, Rob and I and Kay are all work for Arcus. Because I'm so used to using my non-Arcus email, Rob said, hey, declare it. I'll figure this out eventually. I think I went 2 slides. Nope. Once upon a time, there was LSOE, which was the precursor to this. There was a number of drafts, and it was later became an IETF draft. It was simpler in that it didn't have a number of the features. It had far less scale. It had scale on the order of LLDP v2, but it did include the security. There's an open source implementation still out there. Okay, and then we changed to L3 to make clear that our object is really IP, and it was much expanded scalability. An example I'm going to use is microservices and mobility and multi-tenant use cases, et cetera, that we solve the SPF problem, the BGP SPF support, but the same technology is useful many other ways. We entered discussion with the LLDP2 V2 folk when they showed up. I offered to specifically help with LLDP v2 and even signed up for 802.1 email and blah, 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 blah. And we invited them to come in and co-author. Unfortunately, neither of those worked out very well. So then we took a 5-year nap. The working group delayed because of the lack of charter space. The AD stalled for 5 years. There was COVID-19, but it's been a long waste of time. Okay, so now we're awake. BGP SPF finally finished. Congratulations, K or AC, et cetera. The WG has rechartered. L3DL is now one of the main pieces of focus. The working group chairs asked me to merge the 2 drafts into one, or 3 drafts, pardon me, into one, and to make it experimental because we currently didn't have implementations. So that's the current status. Hello? Hello? The current issues are the IEEE liaison, which are above my pay grade. And Russ and Janos and Ketan can have fun. That's why you get the big bucks. I believe the MPLS section is weak. It needs to be fixed. It is not forbidden by the charter. There are data centers who use MPLS, et cetera, but Adrian Farrell, oops, this is the wrong slide deck.
Wrong slide deck?
This is the wrong slide deck. The correct slide deck has Farrell with 1 L. And that's okay here, but we're going to hit problems at the end. Please fix it.
Okay, let me
There's the
check.
slide deck I told
think
you I
it's-
uploaded today.
Yeah, it's approved, but I'm not sure whether the system uploaded to the mid-echo. Let me check.
Well,
It's at- It's at the, it's at the, there's an O2 version,
O2
and then there's a
version
one at the
now.
bottom. Maybe it's the one at the bottom. Try that one.
While he's fishing around, I can use this deck for a while. The microservices example is just an example, and it raises not in scope eyebrows, but it's neither in scope, it's just a use case, so don't panic. Okay. And
Let me
I
check.
think now's when we're going to get in trouble. Yes.
This is the-
Okay. Can you give me the other deck, please?
let me check.
That's okay. We have plenty of time. I'm almost at the end. And you'll excuse me my bad manners when I'm going to bail out at 5:45. You can tell I'm not wearing blue jeans, so therefore I have a nice dinner coming up.
The system says it has already been uploaded. Let me check. But it's how can we find new version approved?
It was approved.
Yeah, but it's not. There's only version 0. Let me check. I do have a backup version can send to us now, or
What am I supposed to do?
is that because it's
Pardon? Yes, there's a big difference. If there wasn't, I wouldn't care.
because the system
Gee,
says
I
it
don't,
has been
have a,
approved, but we cannot see it.
I uploaded it. It told me it was uploaded. It told me it was approved.
there are
And
two
you
versions.
acknowledged my email saying you had received it.
Yeah, it's approved, but it's not in the system.
Gee, look at the, if I look at it, I cannot share them for some reason.
You have the
But
upload.
you have to stop
Update
sharing
is-
this one to share a new one. You have to stop sharing this one to share a new one.
Let me try to stop. ACIU. Let me try.
I haven't been able to upload it or
Let me
do
stop
anything, or
sharing.
do anything with sharing. Let's see if I try sharing it.
There's
There's two of them in
Yeah,
the
let me try this one. both are
with
on-
different names.
Is this the right one? Let me check.
No,
This is still the wrong one. Let me. So another one is, maybe this one. Okay, good.
okay,
Both
that's
are in the
good.
system, but this one is marked as the 00 version.
I don't care.
Okay, please
That's why
continue.
I'm not a working group chair. Okay. The microservices example raises a not in scope eyebrows, but the fact is it's just a use case and to show how what we're trying to get through this working group is something that has long legs that will walk a lot further over the next years. Okay. So I'm going to use to show that point, if I can get the slide to advance.
Oh, okay, let me try.
I'm going to use the example of microservices discovery. Okay, so we described the BGP SPF use case. I've done presentations on it since 2018, so I'm not going to make you see that again. This is a very different use case as an example. It takes advantage of something very important, which is L3DL differentiates between an overlay address and an underlay address, is what we call it. But what it really is next hop and what's beyond the next hop. Overlay announcements are, I can reach this for you. Welcome to layer 3 and forwarding and the possibility of routing. Okay. And another example of this in the SPF case is, let's remember, in a data center and on a WAN, BGP speakers don't talk to the interface. They build a BGP session to the loop back. That's another address behind the interface. So you have to be able to reach through the interface behind it. And when I pointed this out to a friend who was more of a forwarding and layer 2 kind of person, he said, "Oh my God, then you're going to have to do spanning tree." And I said, "No, this is the IETF. What we will do is routing." So, but a routing protocol does not to be able to be specified today for the SPF application. It could be brutally simple, but let's not go down this rabbit hole. But we're in the IETF. We kind of know how to do something about routing. If we get in trouble, there's a routing working group chair right over there. So what am I talking about? This work? So what we have here is,
Randy, you need to talk to the mic.
what I've got here is, am I blocking anybody, by the way? Complain at me. He knows this too well. A couple of TORs, and here's a service node. It's speaking L3DL on the external interfaces, but it also is aware of the internal service nodes and their addresses, and it speaks to them as passive as opposed to active, and I'm in the ISIS sense, and it exports their addresses just as overlay addresses. Because I don't want to go down the discussion of routing rabbit hole, I'm doing it here as if it were configured. So export this, redistribute it into L3DL as an overlay. Okay. And the underlay addresses are these that are exported. And if we want to talk about multi-tenancy, you just have a virtual switch in the middle, and it's a very similar story. But this is to give you an idea of why we need scale. And by scale, I don't mean hundreds, I mean thousands. Okay, so the three differentiations we have here with the LLDP v2 approach is massive scale, security, and it allows announcements of things which are beyond the endpoint. It opens up forwarding, routing, etc. And that's my song.
Thank you. AC is in the queue. AC? AC?
DC?
Can you hear us?
AC Lindum Arcus. I mean, not Arcus. Everybody else is AC Lindum Lab N. I didn't get that just from reading it from overlay underlay. I thought you were just provisioning the service, and then the BGP would actually advertise everything. Everything else would take control, and all you were doing was advertising, that you were going to run this service over the underlay as an overlay service. The other question, I have one more question. Would you for the loopback peering, would L3DL actually install a route to the loopback of the once it discovers the peering address?
Sorry, I hear you much better if I go by the loudspeaker. It's even more disgusting. Yes, you peer with the loopback, but the point is, we went a little further than that, and we made loopback a special case. And just like you can announce the overlay prefix, you can also say, "Hey, the loopback's over there. Talk to her." But yes.
Why do you need to do that in L3DL? It seems like you could just. I mean, I know why you need to advertise the loopback prefix, but why do you need to advertise anything in the overlay in L3DL? Why can't BGP just do that?
Because we get it for free. And because it opens up. Queue up, Kayer. Kayer wants to answer.
Hey, Keyur Patel Arcus. One big use case, and this was discussed with Ali Sajasi today also, which could he's going to bring it up in this, is AC, the Mac moves become a lot more simpler at the very edge when you have containers coming up and going and moving on the compute. Today, you have to figure this out by doing ARP or reverse ARP, but having something like this, which is an overlay announcement, and if you do that in a deterministic manner, the Mac move problem becomes a lot more simpler. And it seems like Ali has other use cases also. So I've asked him to jump in here, but hopefully that explains it.
AC?
I'm going to be early for dinner.
AC?
AC again. I don't think the whole use case needs to go in the draft, but maybe a better explanation of the overlay underlay in general terms needs to go in the draft.
The draft does not have the use cases correct. That's.
Yeah, I don't think it should. I don't think it should, but the overlay underlay, from what's there, I couldn't have gleaned that.
Couldn't have gleaned what? The underlay and overlay are very specific. Those are bits, or actually it's one bit. Is this an underlay or an overlay announcement? It's right there in the flag.
Right, I know. I think it should say a little bit more about how it's used in a general sense.
You're going to use case, which you just understood why we don't want to go down this rabbit hole. Ketan.
Okay. So first about the experimental part, about the experimental status, that's for the working group to decide. The merge was just so that, it because everything in those three drafts were what the working group was. It's more of just putting them together. So that's fine. The status is for the working group to decide. And when it is sent to the ISG, if it is experimental, probably need a 1 or 2 sentence saying why and when, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Just nothing big, but at least something there. About the use cases, again, it's for the working group, but I would be careful of how much. About adding the use cases in the draft, I would be careful. And about going into other things, again, what Keyur mentioned and all, I would again be careful. But I mean, again, everything is for the working group to decide.
In the security world, we would refer to those as a bigger attack surface.
Yeah, I just put myself in the queue that my question, maybe as a participant working group member, is whether this use case is specific to BGP SPF or is like a more general use case
This is not even a BGP SPF use case.
Right. So this
It's
is
just
for
showing how
other-
you can use this in a different way so you might understand. And I'm presenting it because, first of all, I presented the BGP SPF use cases 42 times. But this is to say, hey, given this, look what you can do. And this is only one dimension. As Kayer mentioned, there's mobility. Right? There's other stuff too. I'm trying not to go too far into that because we're going to get distracted by shiny objects and so on and so forth. But what I like about this is you don't have to complicate things further. I'm a simple kind of guy. I'm too old to get too complex.
Okay. Thank you. Any further comments on this document? Yeah. So AC, I think maybe
Yeah, I got one. I just got one more. So as far as this document's concerned, the only update that the authors have pending is elaborating on the MPLS. Is that correct?
yeah. AC, could you speak a little louder? Yeah.
You say, I believe AC is asking, is the major part of the update we plan is to clean up the MPLS? The answer to that's yes. But I know that I have other things queued up. I just forget what they are.
Oh,
But
okay, yeah.
Nothing
yeah,
major, but MPLS is the change you're going to see.
Okay. Yeah, I had commented once, I thought the checksum should be included as part of the draft, not just an example, so you didn't leave it open-ended.
I thought Rob was pretty eloquent on dealing with your checksum question.
No, that was whether it was optional or not. I don't care that much about that, but I think the actual checksum algorithm should be specified as opposed to just an example.
Okay. So I remember, I've got 3 messages. I've got G's Shepherd review. I've got somebody else's review, and I've got your review.
Right.
And all
okay.
3 of those I've got to process. And yeah, your checksum thing is part of that, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So probably we need another update of this document after
At
this.
least,
At least. I just, you'll excuse me, I have personal events which have made me far less effective than I should have been. So I'm way behind on this. I will get there.
Yeah.
I will not take another 5 years.
Yeah, thank you, Randy. Yeah, and probably we also need to consider finish the liaison first and reply to the liaison, and then
That's
we
not
can
my
move
job.
this document. See how
I
we
think,
can
yeah,
move forward.
I think we can move forward concurrently with the draft updates for our reviews, our internal reviews,
Yeah,
and then
the review. Yes,
and schedule the liaison.
agree. Okay. Now we move to the next presentation. Li Zhang.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Li Zhang from Huawei. I will introduce the work on applying BP as a segment routing over IPv6 institutions to BP SPF on behalf of my co-authors. And
Does not work? Okay.
it doesn't work.
Need to
Yeah.
click it every time. Try now.
Oh, okay, it's fine. Okay. So let's start from the introduction as BPLS SPF leverages the mechanism of both BEP and BPLS protocol extensions, and it turns the BPLS attributes and also the NRI selection rules. But in networks such as the data center and the one where the BPLS SPF is used as the underlay routing protocol, it may be useful to enable SR6-based source routing mechanisms for traffic engineering and optimization. RC 9540 defines the intention to BPLS to advertise the SRV6 segments along with their behaviors and also other attributes via BP. So this document proposes to introduce the BP RS extensions for SR6 to the BP SPF. So first is which SR6 node attributes TLVs should be supported in BPSPF. The first one is SR6 capability TLV. This is used to announce the node it supports the SR6 capabilities. And this is also a mandatory TLV in the BPSPF node attribute when the node supports SVR6. And the second TLV is SVR6 node MSD tabs. This is used to advertise the node its limits and the SH operations supported by this node. And this is an optional TLV. The SRU MSD tab specified in RC 9352 can also be used in the BP SPF node MSD TLV. And the last one is SR algorithm TLV. This is very simple, used to advertise which SR6 algorithms this node is supported. This is also an optional TLV. If there is no algorithm TLV advertised, then it indicates the node only supports the algorithm 0. So for the SR6 link attribute TLV, the first one is SR6 and their XSEED TLV. This is a quite basic TLV to describe the SR6 corresponding to a 0.1 or a density of the node. Another second one is the layer 2 bundle member attribute TLV. This TLV is defined in RC 90 and 85. It is used to advertise layer 2 bundle member link attributes with when the layer 2 bundle member link is associated with a parent layer 3 link. And in BEP SPF, there may be also includes the trunk link scenarios. So BEP SPF also may support this TLV. And the last one is SVR6 link MSD tab. This is similar with the node MSD tabs in the previous page, but this indicates the limits and SR operation supported by the specific link. This is also an optional TLV, and okay, and the next page is about the prefix attributes TLVs. And actually, there is only one TLV defined for BPLS, is the SR6 locator TLV. It is used to advertise the locators supported by the node. Currently, the flag fields are not used in BP SPF, so the flag fields should be set to 0. And BPLS also defines the new NRI, which is the SR6 seed NRI. It also has some attribute TLVs. The first one is SR6 seed information TLV. This is used to advertise the SR6 seed associated with a node in a SR6 seed NRI. And the second one is SR6 endpoint behavior TLV. It uses to advertise the behaviors associated with a seed. And this is also a mandatory TLV must be included in the BPMS attribute associated with the SR6 seed NRA. And the last one is SR6 seed structure TLV. This is used to indicate the length of each individual part of the SR6 seed. This is an optional TLV, but maybe used in BPSPF because there may be some scenarios which are using the compressed seed. Okay, and for the next steps, we will continue to improve the quality of the document, and we also welcome for the comments and suggestions for this document. And the last is will the working group consider to adopt this draft? Okay, that's all.
John,
Thank you.
Okay, Sunny Zhang, I'd like to ask two questions for this draft. If we'd like to use SRv6 in data center, especially for BGPRS SPF, I'm wondering if we can reuse the existing extensions defined in SRv6. Because if there is so many extensions in SRv6, if we want to use the function defined, and we must copy it to BGPLS SPF, right? So I think that it may made some duplicated extensions here. So it's just a suggestion. Maybe we can find a way to make it simpler. And the second question is that we see that there is a SR algorithm TLV defined in this draft, right? So
Yes.
if it means that we will use flex ego in BGPLS SPF too. I'm not much sure. Seems like we won't use flex ego in BGPLS SPF before, right? Yeah. So if this TLV is not necessary here.
I think for the first question, yes, we didn't copy all the SR6 intentions for BPRS to SPF. We just to select some things that may be useful in SPF and to copy that extensions to here. And I think this is the simplest way to enable SR6 in BPSPF. And
Thank you.
Keyur Patel Arcus, this is good work. I think AC, if I recall correctly, we did not use algorithm, right? It was taken out.
We
Yeah,
took
but
it's not
we took
for-
it out because Ketten said it wasn't needed.
yeah, but come
We
to think about
talked
it,
about it,
yeah,
and we were really only supporting algorithm 0, so we took it out.
correct.
At that.
But come to think about it now, with maybe SRv6 or even just with the base SPF, the support for slicing would become pretty attractive as long as the extensions can support it. Very attractive.
Yeah.
AC Lindum, I'm just speaking
Yeah,
as a
listen,
working group
please.
member. I think I was looking at the ISIS and OSPF SRv6 drafts, and they do not really go into more detail in this one. Thanks for at least describing the TLVs more than they were in the first version. But even so, I don't know that you have to go in and put in the pseudocode like is in BGP SPF for everyone, but it would be good to have a little more guidance in how the TLVs are being used in the BGP SPF. You know, what capabilities they give you. I looked at I looked back at the ISIS and OSPF v3 SRv6 in respect to Sandy's comment about, I think we should add these things as we have use cases. We shouldn't just have a draft that just has a list of TLVs for flex algorithm and everything, which is flex algorithm is well defined. And I think if we do flex algorithm, we're going to need more text as how it's done with BGP SPF. So let's just keep this to SRv6, and I would like to, as speaking as working group member, I would like to see more discussion on how the TLVs are used in the route computation done by BGP SPF.
Okay.
But we can do an adoption. We can do an adoption prior. I mean, we don't need that for the adoption call.
Okay. Thank you, AC. Will provide more clarification on how to use these TLVs. Okay.
Yeah, what I'd like to say is for this document, actually, for the TLVs, which can be reused from the BGP LS, actually, maybe we can just refer to that, simply refer to that relevant document in the BGP LS. And if there's any specific difference in the encoding, in the semantic or the usage, we can just add more text in this document. So that is to reduce the duplication. That is something we can expect, right?
That's not what I'm asking for. The BGP, I don't think we should. I think there isn't much there anyway. In the draft, it's only 9 pages. I don't think it should be reduced at all. And the BGPLS isn't using the TLVs. It's just re-advertising them from the IGPs. Where in this case, we're actually going to use them for the BGP SPF computation. And I would have a comment that's it's diametrically opposed to the one you just made of putting less in there. I'd like to see more about how these TLVs are used in the context of BGP SPF.
Yeah, that is something
Actually,
needs to be added.
Maybe I should talk to the LSR chairs about this, but I think the original ISIS and OSPF v3 drafts should have had more on how the TLVs were used.
Yeah,
Nobody got that
maybe
joke.
check whether we can
But anyway,
learn something from there.
Yeah.
Keyur Patel Arcus. Maybe this requires a little more of a discussion. Probably we should take that offline and have a meeting and see what can be done. But nonetheless, as you suggested, AC, this is a good work. We can issue an adoption call.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think there's a use case for it, and I think we can do an adoption call.
Yeah, we can bring it to the list. Yeah, we have 1 more minute. Anyone have further comments? Okay. AC, you have anything else to say?
No, I think the takeaways that we're gonna, the immediate one is trying to schedule this interim with IEEE 802 participants.
Right. Yeah. Sure. We can talk about it offline. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and hopefully we will meet in Madrid. Thank you. Thank you, AC.
Thank you.
Thanks, G. Thanks, Claire.
Yeah, hope we can see you in person next time.
Absolutely.